Have you ever been in a relationship, a situation, around people who you just didn't click with? You know, your gut feeling screaming at you, telling you there's something wrong, but you just can't name it. You don't truly know what's going on, but your gut feeling is just screaming at you, telling you you need to flee, you need to get out of this situation because this isn't for you. I have many times. I've been in situations where my gut feeling was telling me, listen, you need to just dip. These people aren't for you. You know, this situation isn't for you. This job isn't for you. But I'd ignore it. I'd dim it down until over time, my gut feeling would start to prove me right more and more and more. You know, I'd be around certain people and it almost feel like these people were just like not aligned with who I was. You know, in the beginning it was fine. You know, we'd be talking, it'd be chill, but over time, my gut feeling would start proving me right. The point of this video isn't to tell you to just neglect your friends, isn't to tell you to just get rid of your relationship just like that, isn't to tell you to just follow your gut feeling 100%. But what I'm trying to say is that you should always just listen to it. Always listen to that gut feeling because it's picking up on things that you may not understand initially, but the more you start talking to, or the more you start ignoring it, the more you dim it down, the more it will start crying to you and telling you, listen, this wasn't a situation that you should be in. You know, for example, for me, I've been in relationships where in the initial dating stages, I've had a terrible gut feeling. You know, I didn't feel a vibe, but I'd let things slide because I had chemistry. You know, we would have jokes, we'd have good moments, but there was clearly a difference in values and alignment. But I just ignore that gut feeling, you know, in certain situations and tell myself that, listen, I'm being crazy, let me just give her a chance. And every single time, guess what would happen? More and more ugly stuff would happen because my gut feeling was trying to protect me from something that I shouldn't have been in. You know, and maybe you could say the same. Maybe you've had a relationship where you just kept on letting things slide that your partner was doing. You know, you let this slide, you let that slide, you let that slide, and eventually, what happened? You ended. It ended. Same goes for friends. As I said, you have friends and you just don't feel aligned to these people at all anymore. You know, maybe you outgrew them, maybe you just never even really liked them, but you just keep hanging out with these people, and every time you hang out with them, you listen to your body. You know, you probably feel tense, right? You feel tired. You don't feel inspired. You don't feel motivated. You feel drained. Like you just want to lie down, and you just, like, it's like all your energy is sucked out of you. It's called an energy vampires. That's what they say. These energy vampires. You know what I'm talking about? Most likely you do. Trust that gut feeling, whether it's directing you towards a situation, a career, a job, or it's trying to tell you to flee from a situation. Let's say you're in a situation with some people. Let's say you're on a date and you just don't like this person. Like you don't like the person. Like you just don't. Listen to that gut feeling. End the day early. Go home. Do whatever, because I'm telling you, if you don't listen to it, bro, it's gonna get you into more crap. I know from firsthand, I know from experience, you know. And as I said, don't use it as like your pure compass. You know, don't look at it as like you should be guiding your every decision based off of it. Maybe instead listen to it, start toning it down a bit. You know, you can only, let's say you're on a date, or let's say you're dating this person and you've been investing a lot into them, and that gut feeling keeps screaming at you over and over again. Maybe just dim down the energy. You know, just take it down a notch and stop investing as much energy and truly letting things reveal. Because I'm telling you, you'll always get the truth some way, or one way or another. You know, you'll always find things out. You know, and yeah. Always listen to your gut feeling. Always listen to it. Anyways, if you liked the video, please feel free to subscribe, like, and comment. Peace.